right, let's introduce these players in the bottom right. Meching and failing in game number 1. He needs to. Whoa, your SCVs are all over the place. His ID is
AJM MVP.
You saw that, right?
No, I was looking at it.
His SCVs just went all over the place for a second. All right, in the upper left starting location, we have our Zerg player winning game number 1. Let's see if we can do it here in game number 2. He is
SuHoSin.
the canceled gas geyser was perfectly synced up with the animation for our introduction. I'm like, he is the. And we zoom in.
Interesting that he's scouting very quickly again. Not many people drone scout. This is, again, something that much older Zergs are more accustomed to. It was more common back in the old days.
It's from scars from bunker rushes.
Yes, and all sorts of proxies and stuff before you could make the barracks before the depot. Anyways, he's hiding SCVs.
Oh,
he's hiding
so smart.
SCVs.
He's hiding them. What?
Oh, my God.
See that? See at the bottom?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
That was sexy.
You know what, MVP? Why don't you just get on your spaceship and go home? This is ridiculous. You're too smart. I can't believe that he just did this.
He, like, impulsively, well, not even impulsively, snap calls just.
Do you know that if SuHoSin had sent his drone over and saw that, that would have been a wrong call by SuHoSin, and MVP would have looked dumb for him making a wrong call. It's like, this, what a ridiculously high-level move we just
That's
saw
one of those tricks that only works against somebody who's so smart that they're actually going to, every time they go into your base, they count your workers.
Yeah.
See, look, it's actually working. We see on the drone on the
MVP
map,
actually, he overdid it. He overhid SCVs. He could have, if SuHoSin 100% was going to count workers, he could have just moved 2. But that's like, you might just glance and be like, all right, everything's fine.
Yeah, you might not be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 2 barracks somewhere outside of my base.
Yeah. So he's still scouting for it. He's still like, what is going on here? Nothing, though. He's, in fact, a spine crawler's building. That is how scared SuHoSin is. And the thing is, MVP's been cheesing a lot lately in the GSL, like last season. Yeah, so he might be like, all right, I'm on to you. I'm going to scout a ton because I'm a solid player. And MVP is outsmarting him because of it. God, I love StarCraft. These little things, it's so amazing.
Well, you know, we don't see people do that, but that's just goes to show you how much more the game's developing. Is that's one little trick you can do that is, you know, another way to get ahead or to trick somebody who's only somebody like, you know, the Grandmaster's is going to notice that like that.
Do you remember way back? I just want to have a memory moment with you.
Let's do it.
Way back, I believe it was July versus Casey, but I could be wrong on that, where Casey sent his SCVs to the natural to mine for a command center that was not there because he knew July Zerg would have an overlord behind.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just killed him with a Marine Rush.
Yeah, no, that was...
God. And that's, I mean, what MVP just did wasn't that, but it was nearing
close.
there. Like, wow. There's a lot of evolution going on in StarCraft 2 right now, guys. A lot.
The funny thing is, Heart of the Swarm's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Think of how much everything's going to change then.
Oh, man. Well, then it's just going to be 22 range, like, Protoss stuff sitting over photon cannons, like, hitting, you know, all these crazy things Zerg have. It's going to be crazy, man.
Remember, what was it? You asked me what my favorite unit from that I saw from Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
And I said I don't know, but then I told you afterwards. I was because it was the Viper, right? But then I thought, is it called the Viper?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, what if it's not the Viper?
Yeah, it's hard to think of the unit names. It's like hard to get used to that.
But you know, for me, I'm like the harpoon move.
Yeah.
That's what I think about when I see it. But then I thought, if this thing's not called the Viper and I call it something else, I'm gonna
like in my brain
crucified on the internet.
I've been trying to fix it lately because I'm a commentator, but like in my brain, and I'm sure people have heard me say this, sentries, I would like call them force fielders in my brain because that's what they do. It's like that thing that force fields, man. And I play on like the Korean server, so I never see the name anyways. It's kind of
remember when we first started casting GSL and we kept calling the Stalkers Dragoons?
Yeah. It's a Dragoon, man.
It's a Dragoon on a diet.
It's a Dragoon with
it's an
OCD.
emo. It's like an emo Dragoon. It's got its like skinny tight jeans on.
That's true.
Well, 2 of them because it's got 4 legs.
Whereas an Immortal is a Dragoon that's been weightlifting.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a Roach Warren on the way, as well as the Lair. SuHoSin is pushing forward a bit.
I just realized as we said that, Stalker can actually wear 2 pairs of pants.
Yeah, he could.
He could.
Or he could
Think of it, he
wear,
can wear
he could
shorts
wear
and
4
jeans.
tube socks.
Oh my God, yeah. Wow.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. All right, so Banshee on the way. Third command center as well for MVP.
Then again, I guess theoretically you could actually put a stalker with a jeans on and then put a little T-shirt over him. Over the front part of his body.
You know they have a little head though.
Yeah.
Stalkers, if you zoom in, they have like.
That's why they wear
tiny
V-neck
head.
T-shirts, man.
Ooh.
There you go.
Smart man. All right, so we do have some Hellion harassment here. Good job, clean up some creep tumors a little bit. A couple queens though will push that forward again. And armor on the way with a second evolution chamber. So wouldn't be surprised if we actually. Oh no, he canceled armor and got missile attacks. So he's actually planning on going roaches. Unless that's for infested Terrans, and then my brain is going to explode. Now this Banshee not going to do any, not really any good work there. This is pretty neat to see from SuHoSin that he actually wants to go roach. MVP, you know, he's got Banshees. Or how many Banshees does he really have? He only has 1 so far. But only 4 Hellions as well. He is pumping out Marines at this point.
Do you feel like part of this opening was to make it look like the previous opening? Even though it's not? I mean, you see it the initial the Hellions and the Banshees.
Yeah.
From MVP, I mean.
Definitely, I would say that he's...
And then he just switches it out.
You know, it's so smart to have openings that look similar to try to, you know, fool up your opponent a little bit. So this Banshee not really going to do anything, just forcing some queens to come up and push him away.
All right, not much hope for this Overlord. Oh, but he's gonna creep all over the place before he dies.
That's very inconsiderate of him.
Well, everybody creeps after they die Artosis. That's just the way it works.
Not me, I never creep. Alright, so we have double eBay versus double Evo. The thing is, though, roaches, you kind of have to catch your opponent off guard if he's going like a tank bio force. And in fact, MVP's making a Marauder right now, so he's kind of, you know, knowing what's going on. And if he adds in more and more Marauders, those roaches are going to be pretty useless. And in fact, drops in Overlord speed on the way for SuHoSin. Very interesting. It looks like he wants to do another big counter drop when his opponent moves out. You know, Marine tank is much quicker at moving around, much more mobile than the mech army. But on this particular map, if they're like somewhere in the middle and SuHoSin drops his main, it takes a long time to get back here.
Oh yeah, you have to
it's
like
a long
boomerang that maneuver it back into the base.
Yeah, that takes a long time, and by then you might be able to, you know, lift up some of your roaches, get them back.
Now, there's definitely no doubt in his mind at all as to what his opponent's up to now that he sees, you know, that huge amount of Marines.
Not just that, but MVP knows too, because he can see that it's +1 on those speed roaches. So
right,
that's like, all right, you are definitely going for that.
By the way, that Banshee at the Zelnaga Watchtower is so smart. That's just one way after the Banshee can't really be used to harass anymore. Just put it over there. Keep the Zorg in the dark.
Banshees give great map presence until mutas are out, and this guy's not going mutas, though. Well, that is annoying, isn't it?
Just hiding under there. It's not a manhole cover, that's a roach. He was holding his breath while he's underground the whole time.
Oh, that's was pretty hard to do. And then he comes up and he realizes he's in space and has to hold even more. All right, so this little group of roaches coming around. In fact, he's flanking with roaches right now. 2 different angles he's coming in from. Beautiful move here by SuHoSin, picking off the siege tank and taking a lot of Marines out as well. He's got great upgrades, but a siege tank on the high ground going to deal a lot of damage along with that Banshee. And in fact, he's removing a lot of these Marines.
He's actually picking up some of those Marines there. Now bum rushing the orbital right after all of these mules were shot down.
And what he's going to do is force a lot of units to come out to deal with these roaches, and then he can do a counter drop in the main base. He's bringing roaches and overlords down to do that. So this is a really smart, intelligent move by SuHoSin.
I do have to say SuHoSin's creep spread should be a little bit better by now. He's been a little bit distracted by that.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's playing amazingly. And he'll probably also should have thrown all those units right there. Just one where the command center is. But then again, I guess roaches are pretty good against Marines too.
Yeah. He's doing all right because he does have those nice upgrades. But, you know, he's drawn basically all the units out. There are a couple siege tanks in the main base, and that's going to help MVP. In fact, he has one that didn't get
Do you
rallied.
think he's dropping too soon here? Do you think he should actually wait until he's a little bit higher in supply?
I think it should, yeah. I think you should wait until MVP's kind of getting ready to push. But it looks like he wants to have, if he attacks the front and drops, that's going to be a little bit better. But MVP's like already set up in his main to deal with drops reasonably well. So not sure how well these drops will actually end up doing.
All right. No, there's one of the problems when you go Roach is that you don't have really anti-air that's on the move. So this Banshee is actually such a pain in the ass. Dropping now into the main.
And he does get all 8 Roaches out. Will do a little bit of damage. In fact, Roach is hitting the front too.
What he's really doing right now is just making sure Terran's not going to leave his base. Another attack over here to the front. Stimming these Marines. You know, he needs to get those siege takes, but he can't just do the angle of where they're at. And so smart, just burrowing that.
Yeah, MVP's dealing with it so well this game. He really is. You know, SuHoSin had a good start to it, but the drop wasn't as effective as SuHoSin wanted. Now he's lost a good amount of Roaches, and now he has to back up, and the supplies are quite even, which you don't want when you're going Roach against Terran. Roach is like, you can max on Roaches in like 12 minutes, man. This is...
It's pretty sick. I'm surprised the SuHoSin actually expanded that center location. Just because it's so bad if Terran can push that, then you're dead. Yeah, most of the time we see the Zerg in like for instance in these positions, Zerg would expand to the top center location.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a ballsy thing for him to do, but you know what? He's going for this really old style, upgraded Roaches, and it looks like we're gonna have some Bane Rain coming in too.
Now we're gonna have a drop over here in the main. MVP actually gonna drop the Zerg's main base. And we're gonna have to see if he's ready. It doesn't look like he really has much to defend there. That Queen is not gonna cut it.
Yeah, that's very little defense. And don't forget, he's not as mobile. You know, he's got Roaches. So
it looks like we're going to have an even bigger drop over here. Or actually, no, as I said that, actually, SuHoSin's stopping what he's doing. Okay, now he's going to attack.
Yeah, he's just going to go for it. He does not have Baneling's speed, and there's a lot of Roaches. His Overlord's falling behind. He needs to hit all at once.
Yeah, he needs to actually coordinate this perfectly. Here he comes
now. There you go. He needs everything going in there at once, and hopefully some of these Banelings and Roaches can connect out of these Overlords. Otherwise, he's in a lot of trouble, and that is a nice drop by SuHoSin, but does he have enough?
Yeah, it's not entirely clear.
Looks like those Sea Chinks on the high ground just too useful in this case.
Just too much Terran stuff, yeah. MVP is surviving that, but not by a lot. And, well, you know, that drop, is that drop still going on in the main Artos?
No, he did clean that up. He did clean that up. So we see is going up to Hive, but he's not mining out his 4th base yet. He's been using all of his larvae for these attacks, and now his supply is less and supply capped. SuHoSin, needless to say, is not in good shape here. I think he's actually... Okay, he does throw down Spire. I'm like, is he really going to go Ultra with his Roach Baneling? Like, it's an interesting composition, but no, he's going to go for the Broodlord tech if he can live that long, because MVP is looking very strong. He's getting ready to take a 4th base by building the command center. He has his double factory.
He's going to drop over here now at the 3rd. MVP's drops becoming more and more effective. For most of this game, the Zerg was ahead in supply. The tables have turned now, and it's MVP who is indeed in the lead now. Again, the fact that there is no anti-air, really, I don't really count Queens as anti-air here because they're most of the time at home. There's not a lot that SuHoSin can do to stop the Terran from dropping him, which is very frustrating. Totally different from a Muta-based game.
The Roach is trying to push back these Marines that pushed back his creep. And, you know, this is going to be very annoying for him. MVP is playing very well with his medevac drops. Like, this drop right now is going to be super annoying. SuHoSin has to leave units in his main base to deal with this or build a bunch of spines.
What is happening?
He's trying to use Tank Splash to damage the Marines. It almost kind of worked, but he lost so much.
Are you sure that's actually what he was trying to do, or was he actually just not paying attention? I don't know.
I think that's what he was trying to do, but I might be crazy. Might be giving him too much credit.
You might be. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. All right. I think actually everything's just falling apart. I think in the next few minutes, maybe it's an overstatement, but you know, I think that's. Am I wrong? Everything's just like falling apart for SuHoSin.
He's dead. GG.
Yeah, okay, GG.
Wild style there. MVP is like, all right. Well, that didn't work for him, did it? I think MVP definitely will not go mech on the next map just because it seems like maybe SuHoSin wasn't doing that to counter mech. It seems more like he kind of lucked into MVP doing mech in that first game because he did it in the second game as well blind. So it wasn't just like, oh, you're going mech? Okay, I'll do this. No, this is what he wants to do. And when someone just wants to do a certain strategy, just counter it. Just make missile turrets in your main MVP, make a bunch of siege tanks, make your Marines, play careful, and SuHoSin might just run roaches into you all game on the third game as well.
I feel like SuHoSin, in that game, the timings of his attack weren't necessarily logical.
Yeah.
I think you want to drop the main always if they're about to leave.
Yeah.
You know, not just
Or if they're leaving.
or if they're leaving.
Yeah.
Not just out of the blue.
Yeah, no,
and he should have been like higher in supply, 180 or something like that, not 140.
You know, you have to be really strategical with drops in this game, and that's actually a problem that we see in a lot of Terran versus Protoss matches as well, where the Terran's like, well, at this time I always drop. It's like, well, dude, if he's a 2-base Protoss sitting in his base, do you think that you can just drop him to death?
Main?
Like, maybe you're good enough to do that, and maybe he's bad enough to die to that, but theoretically, that's a bad choice.
Well, there are moments where you do a special timing attack against a certain build, but there are also moments where you want to. It's not like you just drop always at the 10-minute marker or something like that. There's actually a rhyme and a reason to dropping.
Yeah.
When and where it matters.
That's
and
right.
I feel like in that game, even the big Baneling roach attack, I just looked at that and I thought, why are you?
You know, the one with drops was like cute and kind of cool, but he needed to also drop on the tanks on the high ground. And then if he had eliminated like every tank with it somehow, maybe
the roaches can maybe stream in there with the Banelings. You know?
Maybe. But I mean, that strategy is like very old school, and there's a reason it's old school and not current, and that's because you can kill it with siege tanks.
Yes. That's why we normally see Mutiling Baneling.
Yeah, or Infestor
stuff like that.
Ling Bane.
Right, Infestorling Baneling too. All right. Well, we're going to go into game number 2 now, or game number 3 now, excuse me. I think MVP is playing a lot better. Let's see if SuHoSin actually goes for the roaches again. Could be, and we'll see what crazy build MVP is going to come up with. The Game Genie Terran. SuHoSin, does he have a nickname?
No. No, he does not. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was wondering.
Don't want to take
SuHoSin.
the wind out of your sails, but
I'll sail on his ocean. See what I did there? This guy
I thought you did it because his name is SuHoSin, and it's like kind of like SuHoSin.
That's what I meant.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I said wind and sails, so I thought you were making your joke off that. But then I thought the other one, and then I was right, but I was wrong.
All right, I got to get out of here, man. All right, bye.